Hey, it's Chuck Karstensen, another Course in Miracles, video number 73. It's been a little over a week since I did one. And today I'm going to talk about seeking the kingdom or seeking first the kingdom of heaven, a scripture that sometimes you've probably heard. And what I have in notes is that for many, many years, I didn't really understand what that meant. And that's because I think a lot of different spiritual authorities or people at the pulpit or people online or whatever have different ideas of what that means. I don't know that any of their ideas are wrong. They're probably one version segment of what that means. So I think for many years I thought like seeking first the kingdom of heaven is like when you die you go to heaven, and you're like, oh, okay, well then everything's better when I die. Which the studies I do on it, everything is better when you die. You become one with kind of everybody, and and you're in heaven, and different people have different words for those things, and it's probably really good. You're not suffering or in pain anymore, so that could be good that way. That's one understanding, and there's many, many others. So I'm not going to cover them all. Then there was like the learning process over my last several years of spiritual journey, like seeking the kingdom is trying to live more of a spiritual lifestyle on earth before I die and go to heaven, which is something like, hey, I'm working on it, I'm doing it, not always perfect at it, doing it. And that's something like, hey, we're seeking. And and that's something that you probably should strive for. So again, a little segment of what it means and one of my understandings. And now I'm talking about this today, coming off my last few videos that I've done on the Course in Miracles, which is about your function. It really carries on with that. And this is from my notes. Sometimes I go to my notes and I have several notes. I read every day and take a note or a few notes. And this one, back on March 19th, I had a huge note. So it was a big section. It was kind of just like a lot of awareness that day. But at the end of the section, it talked about seek first the kingdom of heaven. You've heard that scripture before if you've gone to church. And then it says, like in church or in that scripture, it says all these other things will add on to you. And going into that one's in Matthew, and it talks about all the things we worry about, all our cares. And then it says, like the birds of the air, they don't have cares. So seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things you worry about, they'll just happen. They'll add on to you. You don't have to worry about it, right? We want to have no worry. So that is another little variation of seeking the kingdom, to start to move away from the worries, doubt, and fears, and into like the peace that you get from a spiritual life and a spiritual understanding, and probably the abundance you get from that. Like things just add on to you. That'd be better than struggling and striving. But then it says, after I took that note, on the chapter says, will ye first the kingdom of heaven? Say, instead of saying seek the kingdom of heaven, say will ye first the kingdom of heaven. I'll explain what that means in a minute. Saying this, I know what I am and I accept my own inheritance. So basically, a couple times or a few times I mentioned Course in Miracles about a changing of mind. You have the ability to have misperceptions, perceptions, right perception, and then there's a knowing, which we're working on getting towards. So you have to basically you have to make the decision of the changing of the mind to will the kingdom of heaven, like start your day in a kingdom living, like decide it's going to be that kind of mindset compared to the hell mindset or the scattered mindset or the depression mindset or whatever it is. And it might sound like that's harder to do than you think, Chuck. I'm always depressed, or I'm always sad, I'm always angry. It's still, yeah, you have to take control. You have to will this to be an option for you or be available for you. And then you have to know what I am. Like I can say, I am a son of God. So I know what I am. I'm a son of God. I'm a son of God. Because I'm a son of God, then I got to just accept my own inheritance. I got to accept it. Like, okay, abundance, peace, love, joy. I have to accept it. Many, many times over my course of my life, I didn't even think about this, what I'm saying to you now. And then sometimes you might think about it, but then you don't really like, am I really a son of God? I screwed up yesterday. I said that dumb thing the other day. I forgot to do this thing that I should have did that would have been more godly or whatever. I don't know what you think, but I'm just giving you examples. But if you know what you are and you're a son of God and say, hey, I accept my inheritance, and your inheritance isn't like pour games and videos and money and whatever on me. It's not that. It's accept the power that you possess to make the change in your mind so that whatever's happening can move you down the path of heavenly living compared to the hell living. So it's a decision, it's a process, it's a learning, but then it just happens once you get it. So first you'd have to accept that you're a son of God, and then you'd have to make the decision to accept your inheritance. And then when crap happens in your day, that never happened, not real, it's not truth, it's not real, never happened, not truth, not going to let it affect me, it's not my inheritance. And then you move on. Easier said than done? Maybe. Is it better to do the thing that most people do? Is like, this sucks and my life sucks and I'm angry, depressed, sad. Definitely not better to do that. So, depending where you're at in your learning and understanding, will first the kingdom of heaven by accepting what you are and your inheritance. And that would position you to just live in your function that God gave you, which is not that complicated as far as like you're here for a purpose, a plan, and it's to let other people know about this so they also can have a more heavenly day, week, year, life, peace, joy, love compared to depression, anxiety, sickness, death. So that is the message for today. And it's my birthday. So that's my happy birthday message. Do your best to be more heavenly, and you have to accept it and then move forward in it. Have a blessed day.